the code for Kremlin Empire.
It's a Sheringham. History is made. Manchester United are the champions of
Hello and
Europe
welcome
again.
to This Is United podcast. I am your host Vince, and today I'm joined by Alex.
Oh, what a great time.
Perfect.
Okay.
Let's kick off. I've got something.
we
may as well
that
go anyway.
counts.
I think that counts. So
That
is that
counts. Okay, guys.
funny? I think that was funny.
Oh, we're professional.
Yeah, professional. So I was on Twitter a couple of days ago, and this popped up in my head straight away. I knew it was fake, but I still wanted to read it. I'm going to show you it and see what you think, and then tell me exactly what you think or how you feel.
Exclusive. Marcus Rashford to Black Fabrizio.
Yeah.
He's got me a couple of times, Black Fabrizio.
He's good. He
Yeah.
said, so I went onto his page after, and he's got the same picture as Fabrizio. So unless you read his tag, you're not going to notice.
No.
And he said, I just love getting United fans. And I was like, bastard. Got me. But the first thing I saw, which we'll put the image up, the first thing I saw was 60 million. I wasn't too bothered that he was gone.
For Rashford.
Yeah. But I thought 60 million.
But you would think, like, considering the amount of wealth over there, that they could pay all sorts of money.
Exactly.
But they actually don't have to. So the Saudi clubs, I think a lot of people expect to get big transfer fees from them. You'll get healthy transfer fees and probably market value. But what the Saudi clubs will do is come in and offer a player a contract that they just simply can't refuse. And this has been evident with Ivan Toney. He's come in. They haven't had to pay all sorts of money. You know, you look at United, if we wanted to buy him, we're looking 60, 70, 80 million. They haven't had to offer that, but what they have offered is a 400 grand a week tax-free contract to a guy who's 27, 28. You can't compete with that.
Does that ruin his career, though, for England?
I don't.
Have you seen the stuff in the Dutch media with Koeman saying that Bergwijn will never play for Holland again because he's gone to Saudi? However, Depay's gone over, is it Corinthians over in Brazil?
Yeah.
And he said, solid team. If he works hard and he keeps his fitness up, he's still in. But Bergwijn, he's done. And Bergwijn did bite back. But Koeman said, I'm sticking with my words. You're going over to Saudi at 26, 27. Your international career is done.
So he's doing it out of principle, not the level of football. Because the Saudi league...
Calling him greedy for his age. I think he's basically calling him greedy.
Yeah, but...
You've got no drive if you're going over to Saudi at that age, I don't think.
So there's been a lot of talk about the Ivan Toney thing where everyone has said, I don't blame him. He's gone over there. He's set his family up for life and whatever. Has he not set his family up for life anyway? You know, you're getting 30 grand. I know it's taxed, but 30 grand a week...
I think if you look at it, how many times have we sat and spoken and you've gone, I want to go to Dubai, start a business in Dubai, tax-free. Regardless how much money we earn over here, if you can earn more and tax-free somewhere else, even if you do it for 2 or 3 years, I just think you've got to look at it like our normal obviously isn't their normal, but their normal is still normal to them. So their big wages that
what they know is what they know.
Exactly.
Like
So
once you enter the workspace, which they do at 18 years old, when you were 18 years old, you know, for me, what I was getting paid at 18 years old, I was like, oh, wow, this money's amazing. But that was my base then. I could never come back on that wage that I got. I couldn't earn less. I couldn't do it.
And
they'll be the same.
Exactly. And we work, like I said, at 18, we all work till we're 60 odd, 70 odd. They've only got a 30, maybe a 36 year lifespan before that money dries up.
Well, it's a 20-year career if you're lucky as a footballer. So the question I would ask you, and I would ask everyone, is you get the opportunity to join Manchester United. Actually, do you know what? United probably is a terrible example because we'll both choose them. You get the opportunity to join Tottenham for £10,000 a week, or you go to Saudi and you don't play in the Premier League, but you earn 50 grand a week and it's tax-free.
I honestly think personally, I don't know if you'll agree, I'd stay in the UK because I want to play in the Premier League.
I would 100% stay.
But I had this discussion with some of the guys at work the other day. If you're a young player now coming through, what club in the Premier League in the top 7 are you going to? Because if you're Pep, you're gone. You don't seem to get time. Anyone knows United's a graveyard for players. You've got
Chelsea.
You ain't going Chelsea, are you? With that many players there. I know, I think there's Rio that said, yeah, but if you're brave enough, you'll go in and you'll fight for your place in the team. But you want game time and you want it guaranteed. Spurs, Possibly, but how many English players sit and
Possibly
play for Spurs?
yeah.
There's not many clubs in the Premier League now, if you're young, that you've got a decent chance to come through, other than United, but at the same time, your career's going to take a backward step because they're shit.
Well, you say that. Cobby's not taken a backward step. If anything, he's kind of been put on the world stage as a result of playing for Man United at such a young age. Garnacho's rated so highly because he plays for Man United.
But he's also stagnating big time.
Yeah,
my eyes.
whether it's good for your career, but in terms of your profile, I think it's great for your profile as a player to play for Manchester United. I just don't know whether it's actually great for your progression.
So really, again, it goes like the question you asked: would you want to play in the Premier League for? Of course you would.
Yes.
But is it actually better to go abroad? Maybe not Saudi, because obviously.
No.
But is it better to go abroad?
Italy or France, I think Italy in particular
Italy.
would be great
The
because
weather.
you can go over there and be honest. Like some of the players that go over there, Che Adams has gone over to Torino, and nothing.
No, he's done really well.
All right at Championship level and Premier League level, but he might become a really good player over there and a highly regarded player. Tammy Abraham did exactly the same. Chris Smalling did exactly the same.
Another prime example who's in Spain now. Las Palmas.
Yeah, Ollie McBurney's gone
Scored
out
a
there.
bangers, some bangers
Scott
the other day.
McKenna's out there, and let's be honest, Scott McKenna wasn't pulling up any trees at Forest excuse the pun, when he was in the Premier League.
You've also got the Scottish lad, centre attacking midfielder, Ferguson for Bologna.
Lewis Ferguson for Bologna. These players that probably aren't going to get the recognition back home, they're probably playing the Championship and lower.
Gomez for Lille.
Angel Gomez will probably get a big move back to the Premier League because he's decided to go away.
He was always good enough.
He's
We just
always
played him in
good
the wrong
enough.
position. I always loved him. He was always good enough.
I'm
But
buzzing that he's got called up.
100%.
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing now as well, which we've never seen before, is Premier League players or young Premier League players or players of a young age are going abroad now. You think 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't see a British player in Italian League,
No,
like
you wouldn't.
Scott's just gone and done.
Yeah,
you wouldn't see it. So it's nice to see. So I do think Premier League's coming a bit like, because it's got so much money, if he's not great, we'll just buy someone in better rather than giving some of the youth a chance. I think it's really weird. So look at Kelleher at Liverpool now. I think he released a statement, I think I saw this afternoon. He's a decent keeper. He's a number one goalkeeper in a top Premier League team. He can't get a game for Liverpool because he's probably arguably the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. He's up
Second or
there.
third,
Yeah, but he's up there.
Yeah.
He wants to move. Nothing
Yeah.
against Liverpool. He wants to be a number one, and he should be. So I do think Premier League at the moment, if you're a young player, it's really difficult to get through.
It's really tough. There's no better place if you're good enough, but there's no worse place if you're kind of on the fringe and you're not quite there. I think Billy Gilmore is a great example of that. Scott McTominay you can kind of understand, but Billy Gilmore at Brighton is becoming a really key player for them. Brighton becoming a team that can compete to get into European places. He chooses to move to Napoli. Like, that is a statement from the Premier League that a player who could potentially establish himself in the Premier League has decided to go abroad and try and make something of himself somewhere else. I don't blame him. I think it's a good move.
I think it's a brilliant move, but I honestly think that is because if you're looking at the top Premier League clubs, and no disrespect to Brighton, they're still a solid Premier League team. They're never going to be pushing anything big in the Champions League, which is probably what its aspirations are. That anywhere up in the Premier League, they just go out and buy the better foreign players.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that.
It's
So I
always
think-
been the case that we, like in the Premier League, we think foreign is better. We ignore what's homegrown. We push them out on loan and go and buy an 18-year-old from an academy in Madrid or something like that. I think it's time that we really look at our homegrown players, especially in the UK. I think we've got some unbelievable players coming through. You know, there's some brilliant players, academy players that aren't getting any focus. And it's really sad to see that they aren't given the chance. And hopefully that changes. But with the money banded about and actually with the pressure on these big clubs to make sure that they finish top 4, top 8.
You
can't risk bringing a 17-year-old lad through, an 18-year-old.
Amas, prime example. So we know he's got a big career ahead of him. We spoke about him at pre-season. There's a player in there. He was a bit poor in a few games. The Liverpool game, he was shocking.
He had a tough game against Liverpool pre-season.
There's a player there for sure.
Yeah.
But he's not going to get enough game time when we haven't got a left back to push on and get. And we're going to have to loan him out. But where's he going to go on loan? It's going to be a Championship club.
That's the problem. We cannot risk putting Harry Amas in there when we don't feel like he's ready. And obviously Eric Ten Hag doesn't feel like he's ready. Luke Shaw thinks he's brilliant. Luke Shaw raves about him. Thinks he's a fantastic player. And I think a lot of people who watch the academy a lot are really, really believing in this lad. But like you said,
Collier, another prime example.
Collier might get a chance.
I like him. But thrown on against Liverpool, big game. We're getting battered.
Yeah.
Casemiro, your senior midfielder's gone off because he had a poor game. That's a shit thing to do.
Yeah,
I should have put Eriksen on.
I wasn't a fan. Oh, fucking hell.
I know he's crap and he's not great, but I do think it's like the make or break in a player. But I think he hasn't really had many first team games. Usually, if you've got a player like that, you give him a couple of first team games. To throw him in against Liverpool when you're getting battered, I think that was the wrong move. I think that's just going to smash his confidence. Everything he built up during pre-season where he looked really good is now going to be on his ass. I don't think he's going to go, oh, I've got a game against Liverpool. What I did, I lost the ball a few times. I thought he was actually quite decent when he came on. He won the ball a few times, set up a chance for Xerxes. He good pass with the ball, but a couple of times he'd run into empty space and get the ball taken off him. But he's a young lad. I just think it's a case.
I don't think that was the place to learn.
No,
I think his place to learn might be Fulham at home. His place to learn might be Brighton away. It's not Liverpool at home.
No, I agree.
That fixture is too big for that sort of player who's not, like you said, not played anything really first team football apart from pre-season. So yeah.
So we'll go back to Toney. We got a bit off on a tangent there. We still having him for England? How do you feel about it?
I probably wouldn't, and I think for the same reason that Koeman's talked about with Bergwijn, it's more that I want to see the highest intensity, the highest kind of level of football, which is European football. I want to see a player playing for a team in that environment. It's the same reason why year after year, season after season, England managers have always called up Man United players, Liverpool players, Chelsea players, Arsenal players. They've always gone for these big six. It's not because they think, oh, it's only big six players who can play for England. I know that has kind of come away a bit, but it's because they've been in the highest pressure games, the European games, Champions League games against the best opposition in the world. There's a reason why managers have faith in them, because they've proven they can do it. We've come away from that, and we've seen proven that you don't have to be in that environment to achieve something. But yeah, there's no doubt that I would want to see a player playing in the Premier League or a top 5 European league doing well, and then they can get into the side.
Okay, devil's advocate to an extent. Let's go to Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, you're talking about the best ever goal scorer that's ever been. He's still playing for Portugal. Scored his 900th goal, by the way, we'll go on to that because that's absolutely incredible. He's still getting picked. I know he's different level, but his levels haven't dropped. He's gone over there. He's not dropped. A lot of people will say, oh, he's not as good as he used to be. His legs are gone. He's still scoring goals. Had a tough Euros, but so did Portugal. Yeah. So he's gone over. He's still getting picked, and he's still doing well. So, and Toney's good enough. I don't think he's going to get worse. I can understand what you're saying in the sense of like he might lose a bit of pace. He might lose a bit of, because obviously not playing in the high intensity.
Absolutely match sharp when he comes into it.
Good players.
There's some good players in there. Yeah,
it's probably a better league than the French league. In fact, it definitely is.
I honestly, I've watched a few Saudi games last season. I watched the team that he's gone to as well play, and I was really impressed by them.
So I think I'd still have him personally.
Portugal have no problem calling up Ruben Neves and Cristiano Ronaldo. So yes, I understand that. I just think Ronaldo's just different.
Of course. It's a tough one. I'll try to think of someone else who I can think of in, but Ronaldo's obviously the biggest one.
If Toney goes over there and scores 30 league goals, I'll probably call him up. Probably. Yeah, so it depends how he does.
And while we're on the concept of England, do you want to give them your thoughts on the England manager?
I've spoken
you
now.
Must be mad.
We're on the third podcast that I've been on this week talking about it, so I won't bore people who've already watched the others. But no, not a big fan of anyone who's not English managing the English national team. If you want to divide nationalities, then go to club football. I think it's as simple as that. Football point of view, love it, absolutely love it. I think he's brilliant.
Do you think you can get over the fact he's not singing the national anthem to deal with that?
So there's no issue with Lee Karsey himself not singing the national anthem.
Yeah.
Why would you? You're not English.
But he should hate England, being Irish.
Yeah, but I just think it goes away. He's in his mind, he probably just thinks he's at work, which fair enough. Yeah, you're at work. Football point of view, yeah, absolutely love it. Love that he's called up Angel Gomez. Absolutely love Morgan Gibbs-White in there. Jack Grealish playing as a 10. I mean,
I love that.
Saka, Gordon, and then you've got Cole Palmer to come in. You've got Jude Bellingham to come in. Declan Rice was unbelievable the other night as well. Yeah, Levi Colwill, by the way, left back. Love that. Absolutely love that. Trent playing, love that. Was absolutely shit against Ireland. And do you know what will wind me up about Liverpool fans this week as well?
Well,
we'll be seeing highlights. We'll be seeing him spraying balls. He got about 1 or 2 passes right. He misplaced about 15 passes, and all the Liverpool fans, see, this is why Trent's in the team. He had an absolute nightmare. Should he be in the team? Yes. He should be in the team because he's a phenomenal footballer. But he
is.
waltzed into that England team, arrogant as fuck, started spraying Hollywood balls to absolutely nobody. And what? We're supposed to accept that because he got one pass right to Gordon, which led to a goal. Nah, have a day off. I'm not having that Trent performance one bit. If he wants to make a proper claim for himself, he needs to step it up about 5 gears. Yeah, not having it.
But when the quality, when you've got that much quality, it's easy to just put them in.
He's unbelievable, mate. He's a special player.
Yeah,
drives me nuts that he didn't pull his finger out there.
We had Brandon on last week. Did you see his tweet?
I spoke to something. Oh,
that's
God,
it, Trent. Keep on playing well or something like that. But then obviously you realise you need to get taken off because you got back to Liverpool next week or something along those lines.
I wouldn't be surprised. No, I would, because I actually think Trent really loves playing for England.
I think he sings the national anthem.
Sings the national anthem.
Scouse,
loves being. He's Scouse, yeah. Scouse, not English, but So there's no doubt. Like Trent came on. Thought
he's got one of the most abilities probably played in the squad.
Do you know what? That first half, watching Trent in that first half, I was thinking to myself watching it. I was like, I can't remember a technical ability of a player since Paul Scholes or David Beckham. I cannot remember it. He is that good. And yeah, like I said, it just frustrated me that he wasn't. But he is the answer to that. So what Lee Carsley did with the under-21s and what he did to win that tournament in the end, in the under-21s Euros, he played James Garner at right back, a midfielder who can play full back, but he's a versatile midfielder. But he played him there because he trusted Garner to receive the ball in those pockets, so deep, and play the balls and get play moving. If Trent does that, and he does that effectively, what a side we could have. Jack Grealish in the 10, Cole Palmer in the 10, whoever you want to play, Bellingham and Rice.
Gibbs White.
We have got an embarrassment of riches in this England side, and I think Lee Carsley is the right person.
You do?
From a football point of view, to take
After
this
one
team
game?
forward. Just from the Euros. I was so impressed by his. You watched the Euro, the lead up to the final, all the way at the under-21s. I was so impressed by the way England set up and how he used Anthony Gordon, how he used Morgan Gibbs-White.
I think I texted you. I spoke to you the other day, didn't I, about this? And I said there's a player in the Premier League that's underappreciated, and I would have him. And I think that's Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he was good at the under-21 tournament. Didn't really get a chance at Wolves. I know he cost 45 million, I think, for Forest. But every time I watch him, he's their captain, man.
He's brilliant.
You know he's their captain.
I've got something on this.
Go on.
So I want you to guess, and the people at home to guess, how tall is Morgan Gibbs-White?
5'10".
5'10". Looks quite tall, doesn't
Yeah, it's not.
5'7", max. He's like the same. He's short.
Why do I feel like he scores headers?
Why do I feel like he's massive? I feel like he's like Ruben Loftus-Cheek height.
Strong as hell.
He's strong. He's like. But why have I always thought he's a tall guy?
I never even thought about
Yeah,
that.
it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've watched Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, for the last 2 years, 3 years since Wolves.
Wow.
Yeah,
we
mad.
go.
I only
Wouldn't have
only
picked
found
that
that out, and I was
5'7".
I was watching him, and
What's
I was
Messi?
like, "Who's that? He's tiny." I mean, you watch Angel Gomez.
He's tiny.
Mate,
He's tiny.
Watching him play against Ireland, he was like a kid's
Yeah.
jumped on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what a player! I absolutely love Angel Gomez, and Morgan Gibbs-White. They're like best mates. Best mates. Yeah. First thing Angel Gomez did when he got the call up was call Morgan, and first thing they did was like kind of look each other on FaceTime and were like, "Did you get in?" And they both got in, and then they both celebrated and everything.
I love it,
It
man.
was
There's
sick.
There's no better feeling than playing for your country, is there?
Yeah, I'm so jealous of all of them. And you probably didn't see it, but Jack Grealish's comments after the game saying that he was absolutely devastated over the summer. Like he was
I did see it.
really low.
The same time Deck said, "I don't want to celebrate. It's disrespectful to my nan and granddad."
Which I actually understand that.
100%.
I've got no problem with
Yeah,
that.
no, of course you would be. I think it's the biggest thing in your career. It's all right winning a Champions League and the Premier League. That's amazing. That's one of the best things ever. But I don't think anything will eclipse winning a tournament with England ever.
And Carl Walker said that.
Yeah, because he got a bit of abuse for that from
Yeah.
the City fans, man. I trade my treble in for the Euros with England.
And do you know what? I've had so much respect for Carl Walker since then.
Yeah, so
I actually love him. There's not an England player, by the way.
dislike.
And this is where I put all rivalries aside. I was saying it on my podcast. I don't care who you are, who you play for. When Trent scored that goal to take us through that penalty in the Euros, I am Trent's number one fan.
Yeah,
I don't care
for
who
sure.
you play for.
100%.
So Like I'm a big believer in that everyone just needs to come together. When England play, when we've got this international break, everyone get behind the boys, everyone get behind the manager. I might not agree with the manager.
Best feeling in the world.
Oh,
Euros
just
is
a
the
bit of
best.
togetherness.
That semi-final against Netherlands, and the whole country was there.
We'll never have a
Best
moment
feeling in the
like
world.
that Ollie Watkins goal.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
I honestly think Lee Carsley could win a tournament with us. Carsley ball, I'm a big fan.
Bookmark it. Oh.
I honestly think he could. And am I the biggest fan of it? No, but I think it's a realistic possibility now.
We've covered this a little bit, but like when you go back to like your favourite players for England, obviously we love a Harry Kane, we love times with your Scholes, and not so much Gerrard then when we were kids. I couldn't stand him. But for me, as an adult, the best player for me that I've watched and has given everything, and I absolutely love him, is Sterling.
Oh, I
For
absolutely
England,
love
that
Raheem Sterling.
England
yeah.
Sterling is one of my favourite players.
Yeah, Sterling
I
at
love
City. I think it was it the 17-18 season when he scored like 30-something goals.
Yeah. I don't know what year it was.
So-
So horrible blue kit.
It's always
It's
been horrible
blue,
blue.
isn't it?
But
I know
so
which one it is.
something that I think Man United are missing and have been missing is a Sterling. So when we were in for him, I really like the idea of him coming in because what do Man United miss? Someone in the box who puts the ball away for easy chances. He pops up in the right areas and puts the
Beats
ball
the
away.
player,
That's
makes
what he does.
intelligent runs.
So if we're going to have a lot of the ball, we're going to have a lot of ball around the box. This is how Ten Hag wants to play. It's not how Ten Hag is playing, but how he wants to play. He wants to dominate possession, but he also wants to be able to counter-attack but dominate in the final third. So he's going to press really high. We win the ball back, turn the ball over. Who do you want? You want Raheem Sterling. He knows where to be in that box, that 18-yard box, to put the ball away. He finishes easy chances. None of our
However-
players finish in easy chances. Vince.
However, hold your horses because Sterling doesn't always finish easy chances. It's the reason why he
His
struggled at City
history
towards the end.
of-
I think for us, it wouldn't have been a good fit. All those reasons that you've put out, I agree with. But I think attacking wise, we haven't got a player that can put the ball in the back of the net, and I think Sterling might have added that to us.
Yeah.
But I think for Arsenal, I think that's massive.
I think it
I
could be
think that
massive.
could take him to
Yeah,
the title.
I think so.
it's huge because you've got Trossard, who's phenomenal.
Brilliant finisher. By
I
the
love
way.
watching him play.
Leandro Trossard is a fantastic finisher.
I don't know about you. I'm not having Martinelli. I think you rate him quite highly. I don't at all. I think obviously Saka's your number one. Saka's number one fan, obviously, world
Saka,
class,
yeah.
but a very very good player.
He is.
I'm not a big fan of Martinelli. He doesn't do enough for me in games. I think Trossard's much better. He should be starting. But imagine taking off Trossard for Sterling. Oh,
Look, if I'm Mikel Arteta, I'm playing Sterling through the middle.
I'm not dropping Havertz. I love Havertz.
I'd drop
I loved
Havertz.
Havertz.
I'd
at
drop Havertz
Leverkusen.
in a heartbeat.
Oh, do you remember him at Leverkusen?
Oh,
How
we
good
loved
he
him.
was. He was one of the best
we
boy
were.
wonders.
I remember me, you, and Brandon raving about Kai Havertz, saying this is guy is the next big thing. When Chelsea signed him, I remember a Chelsea fan asking me, saying, "What's this guy like? I've not heard anything." I said, "He's the next big thing." He's fucking awful.
The only thing is with him, and it's the same with he's not really a striker, but let's class him as a striker for now.
He's a 9.5.
He's the same as your Maratas. Like, they cannot stay onside. What is it? It's like 10 offsides a game unless Vince backs it. If Vince backs it, he's not offside once. But 9 times out of 10, you'll have 3 or 4 offsides in a game. Just stay onside. It infuriates me.
It's a striker's intelligence that I think some of these players just don't have.
But he was always a 10. When he played for Leverkusen, he was a 10.
He got his most goals out of a 9.
Yeah, but coming in late into the box is where he got his goals.
He can do everything. He can finish.
I think he's
he can
phenomenal.
head. And Germany will have a player in Kai Havertz that will probably score. I mean, God knows how many goals he'll score for him.
Closer. Look how many he did.
Yeah, and so he will have a great record when he finishes his career. Champions League winning goal and things like that. But I think Sterling is a direct upgrade, and I don't think you need to play a number 9 in that Arsenal side like a Rasmus Højlund, an Erling Haaland.
I'm not having Jesus in there.
No, I'm not having Jesus. I love Jesus on the odd performance. I think he's world class, odd performance, but
it's not enough.
No, and I think Raheem Sterling could add those goals. I think he's perfect for Arsenal.
I think he will. I do.
And I would have
Kinda
taken him
jealous
at
of it,
United.
yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda jealous
instead, I mean, it's a bit late to talk about it, but instead we have given Chelsea a player of ours. So we've strengthened a side that's competing directly for a place in Europe that we will be competing with. So it's our direct rivals. We could have sent him out to Juve. We could have sent him out abroad. We sent him to Chelsea with no one in return. Explain that.
I don't get it. And the only saving grace I feel like we have is, and I've said this from the beginning, I don't think Sancho's a bad player. I think he's a really good player. He's not Premier League player. He's got no pace. He can't beat a player. He comes back. In Germany, it's a lot slower. The defence is a lot slower. He has more chances, more time on the ball. You don't get that in the Premier League. It's so fast-paced and quick, and you have a second to make a correct decision. He doesn't have that split second in the Premier League, so he makes the mistakes. So I don't think he's going to be a success at Chelsea.
But what if he is?
I hope he's not. I fucking hope.
Oh
he's
yeah,
not.
no,
After
of course.
He's been such a wanker.
Yeah,
I hope he's
yeah.
terrible.
No, I hope his career goes down the pan.
Yeah.
But what if it doesn't? And what if he does perform and he does take Chelsea above us and into a European spot? We're just going to look like mugs, mate, once again.
I guess it's just a payback for Van Persie who we got from Arsenal.
I'm sick of United dealing stuff like this.
We haven't even replaced him. At least get Sterling on loan.
Can you imagine if Rashford or Garnacho or someone like that gets injured, right?
We'll
we're gonna be going. Oh, we had Jadon Sancho there, and he's gone out on loan. Who are we gonna have to? We did it last season. We did exactly the same. We do it every season. You know, we have a centre back issue. Chris Smalling goes. Like it's been
that Chris Smalling.
It's been constant. The only one thing that we did right last season was keep Harry Maguire. But even he nearly left. Imagine if Harry Maguire had left last season.
He thinks we've got enough on the wings though.
We'd have been playing David De Gea. We got him back on loan, playing him centre half.
We'll sign David De Gea next season for 40 million.
We would. That is such a United thing to
going
do.
the other way.
Yeah.
We'll give them 40 million and the worst keeper in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Have a go. He did say, though, Ten Hag did say, we've got enough on the wings. I do think he has lost a bit of faith in Anthony because he's not putting him on, which is brilliant because Anthony is just another Jadon Sancho. But
I'd love Anthony to do well, but it's not I don't think it's going to happen now.
No, unfortunately not. But that leaves us with Ahmad and possibly the worst performing player in the Premier League at the moment.
Have you seen the videos going around at the moment?
I meant to bring that up earlier when we said about it. He looked good, but it's okay doing that in training if you're not doing it in a match. What's the point? He must.
To be honest with you, it's the least I expect him to be doing.
He must train hard. So
yes,
I look at it from
he's
a logical
in fantastic physical shape. You can see that.
Ten Hag's obviously playing him every week. He's shit on the pitch. We're talking about Rashford, by the way. He must be doing something right on the training field to him. Go, I can't drop him. He's too good to drop. He must be, because there's no other reason that he would be in the team other than he trains better than everyone else. And look, let's be honest, he's hit them shots in the bottom corner 3 or 4 times in a row. We know there's probably about 50 shots between each one of those because he ain't hitting that flush in the bottom corner every time, training or not. He balloons everything. But he must be doing something right in training because I'm sick of talking about him, to be honest. But
yeah, I'm with you. I'm sick of talking about him, but I cannot turn on any... I can't really turn on a United player. I don't think I ever have. With the exception of Christian Eriksen, who I will turn happily. I'll do a fucking 1080. I'll be Tony Hawk's on fucking Christian Eriksen. I've got no problem. He's shit and he's a wanker. But I can't do it to someone who's come through the academy like Marcus Rashford. I just can't.
It's not turning on him. Like we said in the last podcast, I want him to go and do well. And not like a Sancho. I don't want him to do well. I want Rashford to go abroad. And I want Rashford to show his quality, whether it's a PSG, whether it's somewhere in Spain. I want him to go abroad because he's not as bad as he is. He just needs a change. Happens in life. How many times you got a job and it just stagnates and you're like, it's a decent job, but it's just not for me.
Well, I've got direct experience of it. And when I went to London, like, that wasn't for me. I knew I could do the things that I was doing before, but it just wasn't working for me. And then I moved to Bristol and things changed and all of a sudden I was okay again.
It is just a job.
Sometimes it's environment, sometimes it's just a mentality, it's a mindset.
I mean, imagine working in a place where you've grown up, you love it, but you've fallen out with everyone at work.
Yeah.
Rashford's going to play in front of 75,000 fans each week and he's getting booed.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Right, let's do a preview for Southampton, shall we?
Okay. That's going to be a tough game.
So, like, my weekend treble, for anyone who doesn't listen to my podcast, I do a weekend treble where I pick 3 things every week and try and make a profit. This week, I was umming and ahhing and I was trying to put a team in, and it was the last team, and it was either Reading to beat Leyton Orient, Real Madrid to beat Sociedad, or Man United to beat Southampton. I've gone with United to beat Southampton. There is absolutely no way Manchester United can get beat by Southampton this weekend. There's absolutely no way.
No, they're good on the ball, but they can't finish. So I'm with you. They cannot finish. They've got a striker up top, Armstrong, solid in the Championship, just doesn't seem to cut it in the Premier League for whatever reason. So our defence should be strong enough to hold out, regardless if they have possession of the ball. Because the first game of the season, possession-wise, they were brilliant against Newcastle.
They were down to 10 men, Newcastle, weren't they?
But still, to dominate Newcastle as they did, That's still impressive. If they went down to 10 men against us, I don't think we'd have played as well. But they couldn't finish their chances. So that's the only saving grace I think we have. They will have chances. Whether or not they bury them, I don't think they will. But can we score a goal,
Can we
please?
score?
Have you seen Mason Greenwood has scored more goals on his own this season than the whole of our starting 11 together. That's embarrassing.
Mason Greenwood is always going to be a top level player. Regardless of what you talk about, his history, what's happened, Mason Greenwood will be a top player and he will be a world-class player. So that is one thing. But we shouldn't keep harping back to Mason Greenwood as Man United fans, thinking about him in any other capacity other than he's a player who doesn't play for us anymore. He's as irrelevant as Di Maria is to us. He's gone. That's it. So United fans will always kind of, we want someone to come through the academy and be a world superstar. But we can't keep comparing our own players to Mason Greenwood because these two issues, they aren't the same anymore. We lost him. And it is devastating from a football point of view, but the club made the right decision eventually. Eventually.
After their own inquest for God knows how long.
Yeah, but we cannot keep going back to, but imagine if Mason Greenwood was back there. Same as the question was asked to Lee Carsley, said Mason Greenwood not being selected. It was as straightforward as he's not being considered for selection. Simple as that. He's not considered for selection for Man United. He's not a Man United player. He's done. Do we have worse players in him? Would he be our best attacking forward?
Absolutely.
100% Mason Greenwood would be our best player right now. But things happen. He's gone. So, Southampton, I do think if we can take our chances, we'll batter them. But we'll batter him. We'll beat him 3 or 4.
Because we've got some easy
fixtures
coming up.
No, it's going to be 1-0 or 1-0. Those are the only two results.
So back to your treble. You've won 2 out of 3.
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. However, the one you lost, what cost you?
Man United. And I've done it again this week. So yeah, I think United will scrape it. What do you think?
I think 3-0 United.
That's brave. That's very brave.
Yourself, you're going to go 2-1?
I'm going to go 1-0.
There it is.
I think we'll scrape it.
And that is it. Thank you for joining. We will be back next week, every week, on Thursday, until the end of the season.
Because the cold